All right, so you're ready to make a phone stand. Well, if you come on over here, we'll start with the plan. And the plan over here basically is we have 3 holes that we have in the piece of wood that we're going to use. These 2 holes are going to provide the support for the angle of the phone stand, plus also what the phone's going to rest on. This other hole is going to be for like an opening for putting in a charger cord and stuff like that. So we have a measurement right here of 1.5 inches up. That's going to determine where this piece goes, and then the same on this side. Then it's by 1 inch across over here and by 1 inch across over there. So to get the piece of wood, the first one is 7 inches. This piece of wood that we have, we've located one that doesn't have many knots. If your piece of wood has some knots in it, then we would cut that off and find a piece that wouldn't have any knots. Now, this wood measures roughly just a little less than 3.5 inches, and you can find the 1x4s is what it's called, even though it's 3.5 inches, by the top shelf over there with the lumber. And for us to, the next step that what we're going to do is when you do cut it, you want to cut it real slow, because that way it won't chip off some wood over there, and make it nice and smooth on the edges for you. So let's talk about that first center hole that we're going to cut. We talked a little bit about the first 2 measurements here, but this one, it goes up 3/4, but it doesn't have a center measurement. So much of the wood these days is from other countries and based on the metric system. So with the combination square, you can turn over to this side where it says centimeters, and it looks like we're at 8 centimeters, 8.5, 6, 7, maybe 8. So 8.8 centimeters. So with 8.8 centimeters, what we're going to need to do is divide that. Well, 8.8, if we divide that in half, it's going to be 4.4. So that's what's going to be right here in the center. I'm going to mark that 4.4, and again, I'm up 3/4 of an inch, right? So I'll roughly kind of somewhere in the center here, there's 3/4 of an inch. And then I can move this to 4.4 just beyond the 1. So those 2 marks should help us identify where center is. So you'd want to go ahead and mark this location for over here, and then for the location over there. Before you begin to drill, we're going to use an awl, and we will put that right here in the center, and you might could just even push it down just to kind of find where that center is. You kind of need to eyeball it well. That's going to give the drill a good starting location so it doesn't walk around on you. For the drill bit, we're using a 3/8 inch diameter hole. So we're going to use a 3/8 drill bit from that location right over there. So next we would chuck this up into the drill. We use a clamp over here. And then you would line this up, kind of fit it into that little indentation, and then you begin to drill. You want to drill slow and don't use a lot of force on this, because if you use a lot of force, it can kind of blow out the backs of it here. So that's something you kind of want to avoid. But on the front, this is what you would have after you've made the 3 cuts. So next what we're going to do is we're going to get a dowel rod from over here, and you can measure this roughly about 5.5 or 6 inches, kind of your choice. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your measurements and then we're gonna go over to the bandsaw, and you're gonna cut the wood according to your measurement. So you said 5.5 inches. We'll mark that right here. All right, so with 5.5 inches. Keeping my hands away from the blade. You would actually need 2 of these. But then, and you might have to get some sandpaper to kind of sand this down a little bit. So these 2 will fit in here. Again, you might need some sandpaper to fit them in there. And so it should come up maybe an inch, 1.25 inches to help you hold the phone. So it looks like that's 5.5 inches. If you want, maybe instead of 6, you could go a little bit shorter. That would give you a little more angle back here if you went a little shorter. So if you need to, go back and use the bandsaw to cut it down. If you went with 6, cut it down a little shorter, okay? So you need 2 of those. You'll have another one going in here, and again, this is for the charging cord. The next step that you would do is I have some finish, and before you put the finish on, you would want to sand some of the edges down, kind of make it nice and smooth before you put the finish on. And that would be tomorrow's work, but today's work is just getting to this point. And then, of course, as you get finished, make sure that you clean up the lab. Hope you enjoy your phone stand.